And we have Netflix included to enjoy our favorite shows and movies.
¿Qué tal esta?
Bacanísima, pero ya la vi.
Now the hard part is getting them to agree on a movie.
Switch today and get the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI, all on the best network in the U.S. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025.
Since I've been in recovery, I could write a novel of the good things that happened to me. I finished college. I've held great jobs. It's never too late to recover from addiction. I am living proof that recovery is possible.
Get treatment. It works. To learn more, visit livingproofsf.org.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Score big by saving lives with Stanford Blood Center. Donate blood between September 1st through the 30th and be automatically entered for a chance to win 2 club-level seats to the ultimate Sunday night showdown, San Francisco versus Atlanta at Levi Stadium. It's your chance to make a difference and experience the game like never before from premium seats with an unbeatable view. Every donation helps patients in need and brings you one step closer to the end zone. Learn more at StanfordBloodCenter.org/touchdown.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed. which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. It's time for the kickoff show.
What a win for the 49ers!
It's Sunday, and we're locked in on the red and gold.
What a run by George Kittle!
Going on, everyone? We are locked and loaded. Week 1 of the NFL season is here, and I could not be more excited as the San Francisco 49ers get set to invade Seattle in Lumen Field. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo, Neal back for another season. Lolo, what's happening, my man? How we doing?
Bang, Niner gang, baby. I got to get back in form. See, I missed the mic but I came back in just in time.
Well,
just in time.
Look, it's a brand new studio.
Yes.
We're live in the Laughing Monk Studios. For home games, we're going to be live at Laughing Monk Brewing every single home game. When they're at Levi's, of course, they won't be there till week 3, but we're looking forward to that. Brand new studio. We got new lights. You like the new digs?
I like it, man. It's all set up really nice. It's slick in here. I feel like we're big time. Moving on up, baby. Moving on up. We finally got a piece of the pie. But I tell you right now,
slowly but surely.
It's early, but it's fired up. It's Niner time. It's football season. I'm just excited. Big kickoff today. Playing in Seattle with 12th man. You know that place is going to be rocking. And what better way to start the season off for the 49ers than to go to Seattle and go try to get that win?
Absolutely. They've won there the last 3 times. They'll try and make it a 4th. And look, this is a season, I think, Lo, with a ton of questions, and almost appropriate that they start with the Seahawks because both teams, I think, no one really knows what to make of them. And to me, that's what's exciting about every single start to the NFL season, but a particular one where the Niners, they have a 6-11 season. Obviously take a slide after making it to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And now this year you sign your quarterback, you bring back a couple of main pieces, you move off of multiple, I don't know if cornerstone pieces are the way to put it, but definitely pieces of your franchise with the Debos, the Greenlaws, the Hufangas, all of these players, the Charvarius Wards, they're now gone. And now it's up to a team, I think, to reinvent themselves with a piece of the past with an eye on the future.
I like that, the way you said that, Evan, is because it's interesting just to see where this Niner organization is going. We understand where they've been the last several years, 2 Super Bowl appearances. Of course, they've been on the short end of that. But it's been a team that's been very competitive, had one bad year in there, 2 bad years, decent years last year and several years ago where you only win 6 games. But like you're saying, a lot of the older guys, different people that were a part of that tradition, the Debo, that you saw this window open or close, and now you see, the Greenlaw, Hufanga, they're gone. It's like, but you added some pieces. You brought back a very crucial piece, and then Robert Saleh, a guy who witnessed and was a part of some of those good Niner defenses that we got to see. So I think that there's still some optimism about it. And it's like, is the window still open? And I think that's the question. And I think that's what I most look forward to this season, to see if the window is still open for this Niner team, even though some people have left, some pieces just came back. But there's also that unknown because of the ups and downs and the ebb and flow, including the injuries that we got to get into for the Niners that make you say, is this window closing even faster than we think?
Well, and that unmistakable voice is Lorenzo, Neal. Evan Giddings with you every single Sunday, whether they're row, whether they're home. Come down to Laughing Monk Brewing for home games. We're locked in the Laughing Monk Studios right now, getting you set for the 49ers and the Seahawks. Week 1 kicks off at 1:05 Pacific Standard at Lumen Field. And one of those pieces that you're talking about is kind of where we have to start, the mainstay, sort of the horse motor, if you will, the engine of last year's, I think, or pardon me, of 2 years ago. And then the absence of him last season was Christian McCaffrey. I think the biggest absence that was felt from that football team is ready to go this week on Sunday. And look, he left practice sort of towards the end on Thursday, was a limited participant. Friday was practicing on the side. Kyle Shanahan goes to the podium, tells everyone, look, I'm not going to be talking about McCaffrey. He's questionable. I'm questionably concerned about the calf. We don't know if it's the same calf from the one from last year that held him essentially to 4 games, and then he got hurt with a PCL. But this guy, in many ways, Lo, is everything to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, and here's what people don't realize. They say, oh, well, you got a multi-million-dollar quarterback, so you don't need necessarily rank. When you think about guys like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Jerome Bettis, you look at the quarterback, Big Ben. Think about when you think about the great LaDainian Tomlinson, Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Think about these guys that I'm talking about. Look at Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch. See, when you have, even though a good quarterback, even possibly even a Hall of Fame type of quarterback, when you have a good running game, it helps your passing game. It helps your play action. So, yes, this is a huge, huge loss when you don't have McCaffrey. That's 3, 4, 5 different wins that you get. Not necessarily he makes you win, but it makes your offense more efficient. And that's why I talked about the different quarterbacks of yesterday years, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner's a great quarterback, but when he had a Marshall in that offense and the play action and you can run the ball, it makes your offense more efficient. McCaffrey stabilizes and makes the offense more efficient and make Brock Purdy's game even better.
And there's no question that quarterback is the most important position in all sports. But you saw even last year what the addition of a Saquon Barkley did to the Philadelphia Eagles. Not that Jalen Hurts is not a great quarterback. I thought he looked good on Thursday against the Cowboys. But Saquon took that team to a completely different level. A team that had already been to the Super Bowl, was on the precipice of a championship. He was the missing piece. And so, while the Niners, I don't think a lot of people would walk into the season and you'd say, all right, they're Super Bowl contenders. If the potential of their year is to be realized, Christian McCaffrey has to play a massive part.
Without a doubt. And look no further than a team that's going to play tonight against the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, going out and get King Henry. Yep. Look what it did for the quarterback, Lamar Jackson. It even made him that more deadly. Running the ball made it more effective by having it. When you have a quarterback like you have in Purdy, but also have, when you see McCaffrey, his ability to run the ball, the way that he hits the hole, he makes your linebackers have to come downhill. And once they come downhill, that's when Kittle can pop open right behind the linebackers. Because if you don't stop McCaffrey before he gets going and he becomes in that secondary, it's hard and to put pressure on these linebackers to run and fill in space. So it does create so much illusion, and it makes the offense so much more effective when you have a running back of that magnitude. He's not just an average running back. This is a great elite type of running back. And when you have McCaffrey at his best, this offense is hell.
Especially when it's well. And the thing is, the thing about McCaffrey too is when you look at this type of game, and I know it's week 1, but I think a lot of people are getting PTSD from last year, especially with Monday Night Football against the Jets. McCaffrey was banged up in training camp, but you didn't know to what extent. It was a calf injury that had eventually transitioned into an Achilles. But everyone was under the assumption, Lo, that going into that game, he had a chance to play against the Jets. He was questionable. Perhaps he was going to play. Maybe he wasn't. But then we're standing and we find out 30 minutes before kickoff that he is inactive.
Yeah, and no question. You saw when he was injured, we talk about the Jets and talk about last year and McCaffrey up and down last year. What's going on with McCaffrey? It hampered the whole team. It was something that just, you have that on the back of your mind. Are we getting our guy back? Here's a guy that led the league, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. That's a big piece of your offense. And so, today, going in this game, Thursday, you said, okay, we got to play the clip where Kyle Shannon's talking about McCaffrey. And then, okay, Friday, he's out of practice, and all Saturday, he's going through the walkthrough. That's huge news for the psyche of this team, for the offense, what they want to do, because it all goes to McCaffrey.
It does. And what you're talking about is Kyle Shanahan at the podium on Friday being asked about McCaffrey as a limited participant. Did not pop up on the injury report at all during preseason, during training camp, except for 72 hours before week 1, which obviously sent people into a tizzy. So I want to play this clip from Kyle Shanahan for you, and then we're going to get into what exactly it may have meant 48 hours later. Here's Kyle.
Did not practice.
Was he able to do any team drills yesterday, Kyle, or what happened during practice yesterday with him?
Yeah, he did a limited amount of stuff in practice yesterday.
What's your level of concern with his physical condition and his ability to play on Sunday?
It's questionable concern. I'm not going to say anything about Christian Gus or any of our players' injuries.
Is it fair to say, because he wasn't on the injury report Wednesday, that this is something that occurred yesterday?
Yeah, it came up yesterday.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, Lo. When I heard that on Friday, I was flipping out. I think I was representative of a lot of fans.
Yeah, you're like, getting excited to.
I was excited about this season, and now 23 might be out. Come on, man.
Right, no foreplay. My goodness, it's too soon, right? You're like, bro, this is the first game. This can't be happening. Yeah, when you hear Kyle Shanahan, you hear the sincerity in his voice. This is something that popped up, and it's like, wow, he's concerned. Because why wouldn't you be concerned when you have a player of that magnitude? And I think we would be remiss if we didn't hit on, they knew possibly something like this could happen.
Yeah.
Because they go out and trade for Brian Robinson, the running back, Commanders, because of the fact he had over 700 yards the year before. He's been a very consistent. You know how important this offense is by having an effective running game. The times when this offense really flourished, and the times this team was in the Super Bowl, in the hunt, talking about different things for this Niners, it was behind a dominant running game. And that's why you go get a Brian Robinson to say, look, if McCaffrey's out or hurt or it's going to miss some time, we can't waver. Of course, we can't replace him, but we have to have a good enough running game to make everything else still somewhat balanced and keep teams honest and play us honestly because of what we want to do in the passing game.
Yeah, I don't think there was a bigger injury that befell the 49ers last season than Christian McCaffrey. The absence was unbelievable. It was undeniable. And I think you're right that Brian Robinson Jr. coming over, and granted, they didn't have to give up much for him.
No.
But that's insurance, because the one thing you cannot let happen this season is essentially a rerun. I know we all like reruns. We all like Fresh Prince. We all like Martin. We all like Friends. We all like Seinfeld. We all like reruns, but not in the NFL. You cannot have a rerun of last season. And so if McCaffrey at some point does go down this year, or maybe even is limited today because of that calf injury he sustained on Thursday, you need a serviceable back. And Brian Robinson, to your point, is a guy who basically has been penciled in for 3 years as a starter with Washington. 800 yards, 6 to 7 touchdowns, 4.5 yards a carry, and he's going to be on the field.
Evan, to your point, Coach Shanahan and John Lynch in the organization would be doing the rest of the guys a disservice to not go out and get a guy that's serviceable. Not just okay guy, but a guy that's better than average, and that's why they went out and made this move, because we started to show off talking about the different transition and who's not here and who's gone, and is this window still open for the 49ers? If it is open, then you got to show that you're willing to go out and make the sacrifice or make the commitment to, if someone goes down, that you still have someone that is going to hold down the fort till the cavalry, until help comes, because you had to do that. It wouldn't have been right to go through another year to not have a guy of Brian Robinson Jr.'s ilk to be able to come into the game and still be a threat of a big play, home run type of hitter. You have to have a backup guy like that in your roster, in your room, because this is not promised, and your window is shrinking, and your opportunities is shrinking. So for the other guys, I think this was a move that helps this team. And today, unfortunately, we may have to see a lot more Brian Robinson than we want to. But moving forward, you talk about a pitch count. This may be great for McCaffrey, the longevity, to have someone to give this guy a pitch count to say, let's hold this guy out because we know he could get injured.
Yeah, and according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Christian McCaffrey will be active today at Lumen Field. 1:05 kickoff between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. A rivalry game right off the bat. The Niners have had a lot of success with Brock Purdy in Seattle, and he's going to have number 23 in the backfield next to him. The question, of course, becomes how much do we see of him? How much do you push him? One thing that struck me watching some of the preseason, Low, is, this is a team that I felt like last year, just because of a lack of a running game, they got a bit too pass happy. I thought they asked Brock Purdy to do a bit too much. He's a good player, but sometimes out of system, he can make some questionable decisions. He can get this team into trouble. The run game, to me, is exactly where Kyle Shanahan, that's where he feels comfortable as a play caller. And so not only with Christian, but also with Brian Robinson, a two-headed monster, so to speak, today against Seattle, this is where I think we're going to get an early look at who this 49ers team wants to get back to being, which is running the football, which is imposing their will at the line of scrimmage. Having someone like Trent Williams, who missed a lot of time down the back end of last season, is going to be important with that. And so in a way, we've been talking about McCaffrey. The offensive line is also something that we need to see about, because if they're unable to push around Seattle, who's got a bunch of young guns on the defensive side, this is a team that I think, I'm starting to wonder, all right, well, are they going to move into more of a pass-happy era with Brock Purdy now paid and happy, or is Kyle Shanahan going to deliver what he has, I think, for the majority of his time as head coach and play caller, which is a run-first offense?
Yeah, I don't think that I think Brock Purdy has answered all the questions. Can he win you football games? Absolutely. Is he a quarterback that you say is elite and in the top tier? I would say so. I think I've seen enough, and I think the fans have seen enough to say Brock Purdy is a good enough quarterback to win you football games, but it all goes hand in hand. He has to play complementary football. Brock Purdy is not 6'4", 6'3", can't necessarily see over a lot of the linemen. At times, you have problems in the pocket seeing, so you move him. And if you're going to move a quarterback outside of the pocket, you have to do it with play action, boots, carrying out. So if you have no threat of the run game, the backside end, if he knows McCaffrey's going to hit that ball, he's pinching and coming hard down the defensive end, down the offensive line, because he wants to pinch it. So if McCaffrey decides to cut back, now the backside becomes the front side, and that's why you have to have great cutoff blocks. So when we're talking about the quarterback and running game, how it goes hand in hand, when you have McCaffrey running that track and the speed and impetus in which he hits the hole, the defense has to get going. Now you move Brock. Now he can see down the field. More of the receivers, they win their one-on-one matchups, so things come open. Now when he's in the pocket, he's got the play action. Linebackers have to take 2-3 steps downhill. Now those windows in those lanes. Now if I want to do the shot plays, it opens up everything. So it makes Brock Purdy even more efficient. Does he have to go out and win games for him? Yes, he can do that. But when you have an efficient running game, it makes your offense more efficient and it makes it more balanced. Even if you're not running the ball, it's the illusion and it's the play action that makes you feel like you're running the ball to set everything else up for your offense to perform at a high level.
And a part of that balance, too, is the dynamic dual threat ability of someone like McCaffrey. I mean, you've taught me this more than anybody. It's not just about rushing attempts. It's about total touches for McCaffrey. And so one thing that I think watching last year's 49ers was so frustrating is, compared to years past, they didn't get yards after catch, and they weren't able to win at or within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Right.
It felt like Brock Purdy, and if you're getting the ball, you're getting the ball out. But Brock had to hold it. I believe it was the 6th longest of any quarterback in the league throughout last season. That's not going to bode well for somebody, especially in an offense that likes to make a quick decision, put the ball in the hands of a playmaker, whether it's in the backfield or, of course, through the passing game, and let them go to work. That, to me, is what I believe the 49ers are doing when they're at their most optimal. And this year, we're going to get into some of their weapons on the outside in just a bit, but McCaffrey specifically, his threat of being basically, someone you have to pay attention to, whether he has the ball or doesn't have the ball. It could be as a decoy, could be as someone that Purdy is giving the ball to in the flat, a safety blanket, a check down artist. That, to me, is also something that last year he did not have any of. And Brian Robinson can't contribute in the passing game, but Christian McCaffrey is someone that could catch 100 balls, catch it for 1,000 yards, and also run for 1,000 yards. That's rare.
It's very rare. It's elite. It's sort of like, I'm an old country boy, always got to use some of these old analogies. It's like if you get 10 people and you say, catch this jackrabbit, it's going to be a little harder. But you can have a bull mask, you can have a big dog, and have 10 people, okay, they're prepared right, and if you say catch the dog, it's easier to catch because it's bigger, even though it's stronger. It's either because it doesn't have elusiveness. So when you think about the run game, when you talk about offensive linemen and you're saying, what kind of team is this going to turn into? Earlier you talked about, is this going to be more of a passing team? Can the offensive line, can they do all those things? When you know that, hey, it's just that dog, you got 5 other guys saying, we just got to go get that dog in the back. We can do it because there's no threat. He doesn't have a jackrabbit. He don't have McCaffrey. That's going to make their job easier. You're talking about an efficient run game. When you have a McCaffrey, because he hits it so hard, these defensive linemen, they have to run to a spot. Now they got to cover every blade of grass. I have to get moving. I got to have that outside wide 9. I'm playing the edge. Now the guy that's playing inside, he's got to play the 7. Someone's playing the 5. Everyone's playing technique. So they got to get to their spots, because if you don't, McCaffrey's going to gas you. So you're not necessarily trying to make the tackle. Mm-hmm. You're trying to set the edge. A lot of these defensive end, when McCaffrey's in there, it's not about them tackling McCaffrey. It's like, I have to hurry up and set this edge where I can turn him back into the help, where I can make our defense more efficient. So guys aren't trying to make tackles. They're trying to be in their spots because it's hard to catch a jackrabbit. That's what he brings to the offensive line. That's how McCaffrey makes this offense even more efficient, because guys can't just think about tackling. They got to think about their position, got to think about the blade of grass that they're defending, because if you don't, it can be a jailbreak.
Well, and that's why it just opens up everything else for all these other players. And so when McCaffrey is on the field, it makes, I feel like watching the games and you're seeing the 49ers, there's a sense of relief. Okay, because anything could happen. You can make a play through the air. You can make a play on the ground. It could be something behind the line of scrimmage.
You hold your breath.
The whole playbook is open.
Exactly.
The entire playbook is open. And I'm sure on the other side, too, as a defense, you're thinking, oh, crap, well, we got to keep an eye on number 23. And that, to me, is, I guess, why when I saw the injury report on Thursday, when I heard Kyle Shanahan go to the podium and kind of stutter himself a little bit, that's what I was thinking. Oh my gosh, that's going to be gone again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you don't have if McCaffrey, it's tough because you don't know how serious this injury is. But McCaffrey helps you win this game. You win this game today because of healthy McCaffrey, because all the other things that he can do. Even if he's not necessarily 100%, you got to honor him in the run. You got to honor him in play action. He can run the bubble screen. He runs the angle. How are you going to cover him? Are you going to bracket the safety, bring the safety down? Or are you going to cut people linebacker to go one-on-one? The linebacker's got to run the hump. He's got to run because the receiver's clearing. McCaffrey's running a wheel route. What angle is he taking? If he takes upfield too high of an angle because he knows he can't keep up with McCaffrey, so the linebacker's taking an angle up the field because he's trying to cut him off, and then McCaffrey cuts back in front of him, it puts linebackers and everyone in a disadvantage when they're trying to cover McCaffrey in other places that you talked about. The offense, how much more efficient, and now other weapons can come open. Yes, because now the linebacker, they might say, linebacker, no, you just go to hook to curl. Safety, you're going to come down and cover him. Now you open up a window for the receiver running that deep 4. So there's so many things that people don't understand what McCaffrey does to make others around him, like you alluded to, even more efficient and more deadly because of what McCaffrey does to the defense and the amount of respect you have for him.
Well, and we're talking about McCaffrey at his best. You know, one thing that was, I think, floating around my mind this offseason, he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
How much does he have left? And how much he has left, I think, in a lot of ways is going to determine the ceiling for the 49ers. That's why I was happy that we got the news today that he's going to be out there, because obviously they're better. But you've played this game for a long time. You've seen running backs come and go, and I feel like it's so hard to predict, not necessarily when they're done, but when that first decline is going to take off. I mean, you talked about the Fulks, you talk about the Tomlinsons. This is around that time where McCaffrey, he might have a great year left, but we also may have seen the best of CMC. And so that's one thing that I'm also trying to wrestle with, Lo. Sure. It's like, what are we going to get from him, and how do the 49ers make sure that we get the most out of him this season?
Yeah, that's why he's got to stay on the pitch count, because you want to get the best and the most out of this guy, because if you can, you're going to win more games. If I said a guy like LaDainian Tomlinson, if we talked about the Marshall Faulks, we can talk about an Adrian Peterson, we can talk about King Henry, we can talk about Saquon. Watch these guys play, and you go out and say, if they got the ball 10 times, if you knew from 10 times they're going to get the ball, it's hard. Can you remember a time? Go watch McCaffrey today. If he gets the ball 10 times, out of those 10 times, 3 runs out of 10 is going to be for 8 yards or more. That's what he has. There's a lot of running backs that don't have that. That's why I mentioned the guys that I'm talking about, the Saquons, the King Henry. When you talk about LaDainian, Marshall Faulk, Adrian Peterson, if people and fans can just go back and remember, you held your breath every time that they got the ball, because they had that type of big play potential. And that's who McCaffrey is. And that's why he's such a danger and he's such a threat. But the only way you get that type of consistency out of him, you have to keep him on a pitch count, and you got to have this guy healthy. If you want your offense to flourish, McCaffrey has to be a part of it.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, too, because I remember week 1 against 2023, you and I were in the same studio talking about the same stuff. They were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I want to say it was his second or third tote. McCaffrey goes for 71 yards, and it's just he made one man miss, and he almost took it to the house.
That's what they are. That's why you don't let guys like that leave. Even think about when he was in Carolina. He had these type of explosive plays. This is why the offense is this offense is so tough to slow down, because of the misdirection, the way Kyle Shanahan has his offense anyway. But if you got an efficient quarterback, which you do, an efficient running back, which you do, an efficient tight end, which you do, so you have those 3 positions, what you need to execute this offense at a high level, you have that. Now it's health. That is the big thing, is this team, and especially at the pivotal positions, and McCaffrey being very, very instrumental, can he stay healthy to get you through the season?
Well, that's why for the first time in a few years, it feels like the 49ers kind of have a clean slate. This could be a season that, coming on the heels of a 6-11 year, you got an easy schedule. You could clean up some wins. You might be able to make a push for the division. Who knows what happens if you make the playoffs? But obviously health is that sort of domino that fell last year that just wrecked your entire season, and you'd wonder if that's going to happen again.
I know.
I mean, they got a lot of older players on offense. Right. They got a ton of younger players on defense. And this 49ers team is going to be a lot of fun to watch week in and week out, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. And that's why it's crazy that we're 30 minutes or so into the show and we haven't talked about anything pretty much else, because this is the first game of the season, and we're already talking about a guy that 50 to 60% of the offense goes through him.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you how important, because like you said, we got some older players. You're right. Tackle, still one of the best premier tackles, Trent, in the league, but he's getting older. Let's face it. It's like, how long does this window stay open with those guys? I understand you got Shanahan. You still have a great coach. Kittle is over 32.
Yep.
So now you're looking at these guys, Juszczyk. So when you're looking at these individuals that you're saying, okay, yes, this Niner team can win Super Bowls. Yes, Kyle Shanahan runs a great offense. Yes, this team has what it takes. But how long will it be with these guys that we're talking about? We're talking about staple pieces on this team that are getting older and have shown some injury-prone or injuries capability that are holding them out for significant time, which leads to losses more than wins for this team.
All right, here's what we got coming up. On the other side, I do want to get into the conversation about windows. What is the window currently for the 49ers, especially in an NFC West that I think might be the most interesting division in football. And obviously, you got two of them kicking off today at 1:05 at Lumen Field. 49ers, Seahawks, Week 1. This is the kickoff show with Evan Giddings and Lorenzo. Neal got you locked every single Sunday morning, 2 hours before kickoff. For road games, we'll be at Laughing Monk Brewing every single home game. So keep Week 3 penciled. It's going to be a party. But for now, we'll keep this thing rolling. We also got to get into some questions about the Seahawks. They made some big acquisitions this offseason as well. Where is that going to take them? And how does that set up a big picture divisional rival game here in Week 1 to kick off NFL in 2025? All right, we'll be back on the other side with more on the kickoff show. Keep it locked right here on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, it's Willard Dibs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for Safeway members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers with For You on the Safeway app. I hear you, Dibs. That means that Signature Select Chicken Split Breast, Thighs, Drumsticks, Value Pack, or Foster Farms Fresh and Natural Whole Chicken, buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Everybody's now letting on the joke, and we need some side dishes.
How about fruits? Fresh cut fruits, veggies, dips, salsas, parfaits, or trays. Buy two, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy three. Or Progresso soup, 18 to 19 ounce size cans, selected varieties. Buy two, get two free of equal or lesser value when you buy four. There's no sound for soup, Mark.
No, there isn't, but I do love a Progresso party. These and other great digital deals are available in the For You section on the Safeway app. Just download the weekly deals to your account, and they automatically deduct at checkout. How cool is that? We'll see you in the aisles.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Be sure to tune in to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, following every Golden State Valkyries game when Joe Spadoni and Joe Shasky name the strongest player of the game from the night before. Brought to you by El Camino Health. Our strength, your health.
Online security is a must, and millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer and more private online. And you can do that too. Get NordVPN with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic from data snoopers and internet service providers, while NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro will reduce risk of phishing and alert you about the fake online shops and known scams. And that's not all. If your email address is leaked to the dark web, you will get an instant notification from the Dark Web Monitor and act accordingly. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99, and we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale, now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula? No. Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo? Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. So listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at McGruffPSA.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Okay. Cam on the turntables. Do your thing, Cam. Do your thing, Cam. Do your thing, Cam. Hey, hey.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
I mean, it wouldn't be a kickoff show without Lowe showing Cam some love. I mean, he just knows you, man.
Because he get me on the 20s. He over there on the things. You hear him scratching that. You hear Kevin. Kevin dropping them feet. He's dropping the beats. He's making me feel like so neat. Okay.
Oh, man. Week one.
I got a way to go, man.
Yeah, we're going to warm up. We got 17 weeks. We got 17 weeks, you and I.
Let me calm down.
Lorenzo, Neal, Evan, Giddings getting it set for the Niners and the Seahawks. Week one kicks off 105 Lumen Field. I think everybody's been waiting for this day, and a big reason is because as much as the offseason has kind of been, it's been more quiet, let's say, than the last couple of off seasons. Not as many contract disputes. Juwan Jennings was probably the closest one, Low, that came to being some drama, but he got his $3 million incentive. He's going to be on the field on Sunday, and it just feels like entering this day, finally, everyone can exhale.
They can.
Finally watch some football.
We got football back. Get a little bit more into that. I know he said his Jennings calf.
Yeah.
So was it calf or was it cash? So what did it end up happening? They say we're going to throw him a bone, just in case we understand he may be required to do more this year. Less special teams, probably much all the special teams off of, and
yeah. So I mean, Juwan during the middle of this offseason, he got a contract last offseason.
Yep.
And of course was forced into action because Ayuk tears his ACL. Yep. Pearsall got shot at the beginning of the season. He was the de facto number one.
Yep.
So has almost 1,000 yards. I think it was 6 or 7 touchdowns. He had a great year. So I get that he wanted to capitalize on that.
Debo got traded this offseason.
Debo got traded, yeah.
So then he's back. He's okay. Look,
I'm the number one.
Yeah.
Well, at least until BA gets back.
Right.
And so, he wanted to get some cash. But the Niners didn't want to give him. I think they offered him a 2-year deal, which was around the same as what he's been paid. I think he's making like $7.5, $8 million. Understandably, he wanted wide receiver 2 money. So they couldn't come to an agreement. So it feels like the Niners tacked on $3 million in incentives based on, yards, games played, snap count, stuff like that. But he's on a 1-year deal. That was the only thing this offseason that came to my mind.
This is just a 1-year deal pretty much? I think he's got 2. Don't he's got, because last year
he's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. So it was last year, it was a 2-year deal. Last year was the first year to get him some guaranteed money. But that was the only real drama the Niners faced this offseason because you paid your quarterback really early.
Yeah.
You got that out of the way. You paid Kittle. You paid Fred. And you moved off of all of these ex-Niners that we were talking about in the first segment. So, it was a relatively drama-free offseason for the San Francisco 49ers. And now we get to see, all right, what's the result of that? Are they aligned in week one?
Yeah, I tell you right now, I like what the Niners did. And here's now selfishly, I'm like, no one loves Greenlaw more than me. Heinz 57, we love when Greenlaw hits you, it hurts you. And Talafunga, we knew that as a safety, this guy could play it all. It blew out his knee. You had 2 injury guys, 2 guys that had major injuries, 2 guys that didn't play a lot last year, 2 guys that were coming back to the table this year. You said, you know what? I'm going to clean the shelves. I can't pay people and speculate off of what I believe they can do, especially after injury. So it's a tough decision for this organization to move on because we know Greenlaw, what he brought to the table. You said it's a pass. You were going to give him something, but you didn't want to go over because you don't know what you would have gotten. It's sort of like, think about, we're talking about a guy and we're getting ready to switch gears. We're talking about McCaffrey, what he means to this offense and how big he can be. But is it hypothetical? Is it fiction or is it true? Is it facts? Is it a fact that we know that two things can be true? Is it a fact we know when he's on the field, this offense, the run game is better? That is true. But it's also a fact that we don't know how long or how many snaps, or is this guy going to make it 5 games, 6 games, 8 games? Will he make it through the season? I guarantee the odds that it probably won't. So that's another fact. So we understood Greenlaw. Is he a hard hitter? Is he an unbelievable linebacker? That is a fact. But it's also a fact that we don't know. He's already been hurt in Denver, didn't practice, didn't play some of the preseason because of injuries. That's also true. So once you start doing that with those type of players, you have 2 guys that are integral. One integral in your offense, one is integral in your defense. 2 guys that may not play 50% of the season. Can we tie up that type of money? So it took courage and for this organization to move on from some of these guys that were injury prone and had injuries that you just couldn't take that type of policy out on these guys and hedge because you know what you're trying to do, and that means win, so I need more durability at that position.
The one thing you did do, to your point, which I think also demands a little bit of courage, is you got rid of some of your culture. You got rid of some guys that were standard bearers in the locker room. And I realized that Debo last year looked like he was probably on his way out, had the run-in with Moody and the long snapper, and maybe wasn't as great of a teammate, at least to the outside, as he's been in years past. Came down Shanahan's road, then dropped the touchdown against the Rams late in the season. Meanwhile, Dre Greenlaw just wasn't available because of injury. So you weren't getting as much on the field from those guys. But I don't know if right now we understand who's going to replace those voices or those like the symbols that they were for the 49ers. Because Debo, whether you liked him or not at the end, he was a captain. Dre Greenlaw, whether he had the C on his chest or not, it was a captain of that defense. And so now you're replacing them with essentially Ricky Pearsall stepping into Debo's spot as the number 1 wide receiver on this team currently, alongside Juwan Jennings. And on defense, it's a host of players. I mean, you saw them during the preseason low. I mean, there's so many rookies running around this field, and we're going to see a bunch of them here today. There could be as many as 5 or 6 rookies getting big snaps for the 49ers against the Seahawks today. I do wonder how this team is going to fare when you're acclimating so many new jersey numbers and a lot of younger ones.
I think Martin's going to get some burn.
Nick Martin, yeah.
I think he's going to get burned. He reminds me a lot of Greenlaw. I'm not saying he's Greenlaw-esque, but he runs.
He could be one day.
He runs and he hits and he gets downhill and he's around the ball. He is going to be a player that is going to be good. It's just once he understands and the game slows down to him, that kid can play. I watched him play, watch him around the ball. Sometimes he's out of control. He's just trying so hard. So when you have a guy like Fred that can help him get in line, get him dialed up, he's going to be okay. So you're right. You're going to have some guys that are younger that can step on the field. When you talked about Debo, when I look at Debo, it reminds me of a prize fighter, a guy that just, that had so many amateur fights, and then you throw him into pros and just nothing's left in the tank. Debo, that year when he took this team, pretty much put him on his back, he was the Christian McCaffrey. He's the reason why McCaffrey is a Niner. They used Debo. We call him the Army Switz Nice. He can line up and play receiver. He came in the backfield. He ran the ball efficiently, effective, running over guys. The guy was absolutely tearing it up. After that year, I think that wear and tear took a full effect on Debo. And then you saw Debo act out in certain ways, like you said, go after the kicker, doing those things, because he understood his window was closing, understood that he wants to still be great, but his performance was falling off. And sometimes you get frustrated and angry with yourself, and sometimes you take it out on others. So I, too, am willing to turn the page. I'm, too, hoping the best for Greenlaw. I'm hoping the best for Debo, because what they did to this organization and how great they carried themselves and all the wonderful things they did. But we got to turn this page. We're playing against the Seattle Seahawks today. You got a team that has a lot of young faces. On the back end, you're going to be asking a lot of your corners and secondary. You got linebackers, interior linemen, guys you drafted. You're turning the page and saying, we got to play better. You brought Robert Saleh back here, went after and say, look, everyone talked about the last couple years. If they would have had Robert Saleh, now he's back in the building. What does that do for your defense? What does that do? Because you still got Bosa, you still got, Hargrave, guys that seen, Fred Warner, that's been around Robert Saleh. That are they going to be the messengers that said, no, this defense is great? And now it's going to make them exuberate the energy, what they had, how their defense played with Robert Saleh. So I think that this is a good thing. I think our defense felt last year, the year before, a couple years, it missed its solid. It missed that energy. Something was missing. It's going to be interesting because you still got a lot of different places.
Yeah.
But can Robert Saleh get those guys to play? And with the nucleus of defensive guys that he has, can they turn back the clock, or can this defense become a top 15 defense? Can it become a top 10 in several of the different parts that we think it's capable of? That's what I want to see. Can this defense fix and rid some of the rights that they had last couple of years?
Well, one of the reasons that I love this defense, and as young as it is, because it's going to improve. So whatever level you have it at right now, to me, there's no way they don't get better over the course of 17 games. When you have 5 or 6 guys that have never played in the NFL before, they can only improve week to week. And you combine them with the Nick Bosas, the Fred Warners, the Diamador Lenores, mainstays from past seasons in which those guys are still all-pro or Pro Bowl caliber talents, and now you pair the young guys with them. You're having basically 3 new defensive linemen. Mykel Williams, your first-round pick. Alfred Collins, your second-round pick. C.J. West, your fourth-round pick. Those are 3 brand-new defensive linemen that get to learn from a former DPOY and Nick Bosa. And in a way, he gets to be the leader of this team now on the defensive side of the ball. So when you bring back Saleh, I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head that there is a familiar feeling that just wasn't there the past couple of years. Even the season that they went to the Super Bowl, Steve Wilks, it didn't feel like watching that defense like he was of the Saleh or the D'Amico Ryans kind of ideology. And sometimes Kyle Shanahan didn't trust him. Obviously, Nick Sorensen last year was way in over his head. Now, I think that Robert Saleh is the biggest offseason acquisition that they made, because while we're talking about some of the questions about whether it's the health or age or some of the young guys, Robert Saleh is someone that I think he makes me feel comfortable looking at 105 and when that defense takes the field.
1,000%, because he built it.
Yeah.
When Robert Saleh came here, you think about where the defense was at and what he was able to create. He brought the players in. Of course, Shanahan gave him the players. He created a culture. He created individuals that said they want to play this defense. And not just that, he got them to execute it. Now you brought him back. You already had guys that were executing that defense at a high level. Now you plug in other guys that you brought in. So he already knows how to create culture. He already knows how to create sustainability. So what you did, I think this is the biggest free agent acquisition that the Niners did this offseason, was bringing in Robert Saleh. I, too, echo what you're saying, Evan, because of the fact you brought in a guy that permeates defense, that created a culture, that created these guys and made these guys believe in themselves, and now he's back in the building.
Well, and I want to ask you this, Lo. I know you didn't play defense, but on the offensive side, what was the difference between going out on the field, or whether it's the weeks in practice, having full trust in your OC, as opposed to, not that you didn't trust the guy because you're on the same team, you're going to war together, but as opposed to kind of bouncing between, all right, maybe this side of the ball feels a little bit uneven. Like, how did you feel when you went out there and you had the utmost trust in your coordinator?
Well, it's sort of like when you get in your car and you start the car up, you don't think, oh my God, is the car going to start? When you got a lemon or you have a car that's been giving you problems or tires, you're like, let me pray that this thing cranks up. Let me pray that we don't break down on the road. You're not taking a certain car certain places because you're like, I don't know if it can go over the grapevine. I don't know if it can go 500 miles. I can just put around town in this. When you've had success and you know what you can do, it breeds success. And what I mean by that, when you sit there and you talked about when I was played, and there was, I knew Cam Cameron was the offense coordinator for the Chargers. And They said, we're going to run power. Marty Schottenheimer say, we're going to run power. We go out there, we walk through it, and guys start, okay, you want this block, double team, here it is, and you get to see it. Then you go out in the game and you run it. Then you go out practice and we go 9-on-7 and you bring the number ones against number ones and it's me against Sean Merriman, lights out, and it's like, let's go. And we go out there and practice, touchdown. And we running it. Defense getting mad, wanting to fight. You walked into that football game knowing that it's going to work. So what are you saying when you're asking me, how does it feel? Let me tell you, it feels great. I've been on teams when we got practice and got our butts kicked, go out to practice and watching the game. You turn on the game and watch the play and seeing it just, it's not working. It's a sieve and you're watching it and you go on the next week and you say, we're going to do this thing. You'll say, I'm going to do it. We can do it. You can talk it, but it's not reality. It's a reason why guys are 42-0, when Mayweather, 42, all those, he knows when it's a guy that's fighting that hasn't won a fight. The guy walked out there, okay, I got a chance. They say they got a chance. They're moving around and acting right, doing all the things that you need to do. Show the crowd you're into it. Hey, I'm here. After the first punch, you see them running for their life. Last year, the year before, you watch the defense. Guys, we got to get it fixed. We got to get it fixed. You hear all those guys talking about what they have to do, what they needed to do. And week after week after week, it wasn't getting done. That's how you know if you got it. That's the mindset. And that's what you can tell yourself, it's going to change, but it didn't. Now you brought in the guy who you know that's shown you that it's changed. You see it change. You watch them in preseason. You watch how the defense starting to gel. You see those things. So those are the things that make you know and make you believe that your defense is going to work and your offense is going to work. That's success, breed success, and getting it done, showing you to get it done. That's how you get more confidence, and that's how you walk on the field on Sunday and saying, you know what, we're going to whoop somebody's ass today because we've had success.
And to me, the guy that I'm expecting Robert Saleh to have the biggest impact on, and I know, look, you got 5 or 6 rookies that are going to get in. Those guys, Saleh's going to help mold, grow, develop them over the course of 17 games. But honestly, the guy that I'm looking at low is number 97. It is Nick Bosa, because I think the last couple of years, I don't know if it's a distrust. I know off of 2023, look, he got paid big money, 5 for 170. He's got a bullseye on his back every single Sunday. But especially last year, at sometimes, I don't know if he was utilized correctly. I don't know if they were able to deploy him to make him at his best. But to me, Nick Bosa, I'm feeling a bounce-back season for him, because if this defense is going to realize its potential, Nick Bosa has to play at a Defensive Player of the Year level. One that he has in the past, and we surely know that he's capable of, but he's still in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
He's still got a lot left in the tank. And I just feel like the last couple of years, there's been something left on the table. And I'm not sure if it's schematic, but to me, Robert Saleh, if someone's going to get it out of Nicky Bosa, it's going to be Saleh.
Yeah, and how do you do that? And those are what I was talking about just with the Cam Cameron, the different offensive coordinators and DCs that I've been around. They get it out of them not only through play calling, but through communication. When I tell Nick Bosa, Robert Saleh says, hey, man, I know what you can do. I know the type of pass rusher you're I'm going to do a better job to free you up. How are you going to do that? I'm going to run a twist game again because I know they're going to slide protection that way. I'm going to have you stun inside. I'm going to have the guy who's playing in the 5 technique over the guard. I'm going to have him play his outside shoulder. So he's going to hit his shoulder. So when you loop in, he has no way of getting to you. So they're going to have to pass it off, and then he's going to hit the tackle. So they do these ETs and different stunts. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a corner. I see they're sliding this way. So what I know that running back wants to help. I'm going to bring a corner cat, make the safety come down and play. I'm going to bring a corner. I'm going to free you up one-on-one. I'm going to give you those opportunities, Nicky, to make plays. That's what Saleh's going to do. Saleh's going to say, it's my job as a defensive coordinator to make sure that you're going to have some opportunities to get the pressures, to get the sacks, and I'm going to do that by scheme and by putting you in a position to have success. That's right. So when you're asking that question, you might say, look like you had a down year and certain things have happened, maybe not schematically. You're right. It's because you have to have the coach that says, this is what we're going to do because you are the best player on defense, especially as a pass rusher. Mm-hmm. How do I get you a one-on-one matchup And I'm going to do that by moving you. I'm not going to let them dictate where they slide, dictate where they come at you. I'm going to put you in a position that it's going to create a one-on-one matchup that you're going to win.
And I know sacks aren't everything, and Bosa is still someone that helps you a lot in the run game. He puts pressure on quarterbacks, which allows other people to get in and get the sacks. But 18.5 in 2022, that's when he was the best defensive player in football, DPOY. In 2023, played all 17 games, 10.5 sacks. Last year, missed 3 games, 9 sacks. If you are to be what we all, I think, understand Nick Bosa is, which is a top 4 or 5 edge rusher in football, I do think that the sack totals, they have to come up this season. I feel like this is a guy who is paid to be one of the best, because he is. There is no doubt that Nick Bosa is one of the best defensive players in football. But I do think that this year, if there isn't a double-digit sack total next to number 97, people are going to start to have some questions about, okay, well, where is he at? And look, his brother Joey Bosa is someone that's now with Buffalo after he got paid with the Chargers, went through some injury concerns, some troubles. I don't believe that, but I think that Nick is not going to fall down that path. And I guess that's just what I want to see from him this year. I want to see him get to the quarterback low.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you and I both Charger fan that played there. You lived there, and and watching Joey Bosa's older brother just fall off a cliff. But you can't compare the two. It's like comparing apples to oranges. When Joey's well, he's hell. Last year he didn't play the whole year. The year before he hasn't played the whole year. If you think about how many, and it's unfair to his brother to put him in that box because of the fact his brother's been so injury prone. So I don't think you have that. Nicky had the one big injury, unfortunately. But I think when you watch him this year, and it also when people just slide protection to you, it becomes frustrating when you beat one guy and, okay, now you got to beat the tight end. Oh, by the way, now here's a running back. It's hard. And that's what people, and then they start pointing the finger and say, the guy's not doing his job. That's what I'm talking about. Other guys have to do their job. You go look when Nicky had those 15 sacks. Go look at the other team, how many other guys had sacks around him. Go look how many corner safeties, the safeties had sacks, other defensive linemen had sacks. It thrives. If it's just one guy that turned loose, it's hard. You have to have a swarming defense and people to just play relentless to make those great guys shine. Because if you can just turn protection and you can put 2 guys on him, it's tough. It's very tough. I do believe he'll double digit. I do believe, like we said, because Robert Saleh, you and I both agreed that was the biggest free agent acquisition, bigger than any player, bringing him in because you need to get this defense. When this team was getting to Super Bowls and, when they were playing dominant, it was because of their defense. They had more takeaways. They were top 10 in takeaways. They were top 10 against the run, top 10 in so many categories. And what did that lead to? More offense of opportunities. What did that lead to? One of the best running games in the NFL. You think about when the Niners were really cooking. Their run game, it was elite running game. It was elite running the ball 30, 40 times a game. It was wearing people out. It was time of possession, but it all came off of having a great defense that created turnovers, and not just that, but get a lot of 3 and outs, so it limited the other team's opportunities. So I think defense is huge for the Niners' success this year.
Well, and you're, I think, right there in the war room with them because they spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 6 new rookies on defense. I mean, if you look at the 10-man class that they brought in, the majority of those players are defensive guys. They drafted 1 wide receiver. They drafted 1 running back. They had drafted 1 offensive lineman.
Right.
And all of those guys were from the 4th round or on. They, I think, told us that this is a year where they're trying to rebuild the defensive side of the football. And they had to because they said goodbye to some people. But I think that you're on it with the amount that they invested in their young players. They're trying to reclaim what they once had on that side of the football.
No question, man. Football games are won and lost in the trenches. And you can't win on defense in the trench. You got to realize they got pushed around. When Fred Warner's playing linebacker and you watch and you don't hear Fred's name 13, 14 times a game, something's going on. And when for instance, you have to make sure you win in the trenches. And when you talk about Fred Warner, here's what he does that guys and people don't understand. When there's a center, the center's hiking the ball, there's a nose guard usually playing that one technique in between the guard and the center. So you have a defensive guy in between the guard and the center, and that guy is to hit the center, hold on to the guard, and stay right there. Don't let them push you back. And if you create a new line of scrimmage, now Fred Warner, he's there. He can run. If he sees run, he can run and hit the gap before the guard, because the guard and tackle, they tray block up. They, boom, they tray up to the Mike linebacker. When the Mike linebacker is in their lap and he's getting pushed back, he can't run and get those angles. And Fred, you got to keep him clean. Fred Warner last year and sometimes the year before, he's not running clean. You have to keep your Mike linebacker clean. So that 3 technique, it's imperative. It's not about him making tackles. It's about him doing his job, making that guard stay engaged with him so he can't slip up to the Mike linebacker. You have to keep Fred Warner clean for Fred to have the impact on the game that he can. That's why he's like that Ray Lewis. That's why he can be like the Patrick Willis. That's why when everyone talks about Fred Warner, what he does well, he sees it quick. He can get down there, but it all starts with the trenches. If that 3 technique, that nose guard, if he does his job, and I want the listeners to watch the game today, and you'll see if that nose guard who's playing that 1 technique between the guard and the center, if he watch him engage, and if he can block and hold those 2, and let Fred Warner get downhill, Fred Warner having a big game.
Well, and on the other side, I also want to bring the Seattle Seahawks into this conversation because we've talked a lot about the Niners, some of their acquisitions, some of their rookies, and of course the biggest one, perhaps the defense coordinator Robert Saleh. But the Seattle Seahawks made some changes too. They made some big changes, and so we're going to see at 105 how those changes manifest themselves into a Week 1 matchup between the Niners and the Seahawks. But I do want to break down the opposing quarterbacks today. They used to be teammates 2 years ago. Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy. Yeah. Where are they at now in their careers? We're going to talk about that on the other side. 1 hour until kickoff. Approximately 1 hour until this season gets underway. The Niners and the Seahawks at Lumen Field. This is the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo, Neal. We're back after this.
Bang, bang!
NFL fans, Week 1 is your shot to play free and stack $1 million cash bag with DraftKings Pick 6, an official partner of the NFL. Here's how. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, DraftKings' easiest way to play fantasy. Enter for free and pick more or less on 6 player stats for Week 1. Share your link with friends and add more cash to the bag and get bonus shots to win. Hit all 6 picks and you'll be splitting a bag that's already at $1 million or more. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code THEGAME. Opt in for free and start stacking entries for NFL Week 1. Zero cost, huge upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. Must claim token for free entry in Bag Builder contest. Only perfect entries earn share of cash prize. Tokens are single use and expire September 8th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Shopping for a new car is fun. Shopping for financing, not fun. Luckily, First NorCal Credit Union can help. With rates as low as 4.75% APR, you can save big by skipping the dealer financing and applying their rebates to your down payment. Visit firstnorcalcu.org to apply. Must qualify for membership. Rates subject to change without notice. Loan subject to credit approval. 4.75 annual percent rate based on 36-month term and 780 FICO score and 29.86 per $1,000 borrowed.
For full details, including terms and conditions, visit unlock.com/legal. Call 1-888-780-6854 to speak with a representative today. After portrayal, terms and conditions apply. Not available in all states.
Hey, homeowners, can I get a minute of your time? If you need cash but don't want another loan, I've got the perfect solution. You can access up to $500,000 of your home's equity without monthly payments or interest ever with Unlock. This isn't a loan. It's a home equity agreement. With Unlock, you may qualify for cash today in exchange for a share of your home's future value. No debt, no extra bills, just financial flexibility on your terms. Use the money however you you want. Home improvements, paying off debt, investing, or boosting your retirement savings. Unlike HELOCs, home equity loans, or cash out refis, there are no monthly payments. No stress. You've built this equity. Now it's time to use it. Go to unlock.com for more information.
Don't wait. Call 888-780-6854 to unlock the equity in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Call 888-780-6854. 888-780-6854 or visit unlock.com. That's unlock.com for more information.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Bring home the all-new Naked Gun on digital now. See Liam Neeson like never before as Frank Draven Jr. as he leads the police squad in this outrageous comedy. Rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. For a chance to win a digital copy, visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
Be sure to tune in to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, following every Golden State Valkyries game, when Joe Spadoni and Joe Shasky named the strongest player of the game from the night before. Brought to you by El Camino Health. Our strength, your health.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Bang, bang! Here we go.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
I'm getting itchy.
No.
I'm getting itchy.
Oh, yeah. I got to get back. Don't worry. Week one.
I'm
going to get it going.
Hour till kickoff, 105 Lumen Field, 49ers Seahawks. This is what it's all about.
It is. It's crazy. When football season's over, isn't it crazy? Because things just it's you still live your life, but something about football. I was in Brazil this past week for the Chargers and Chiefs game, and being able to see the fans and hang out with Charger fans, Chiefs fans, hook up with Jared Johnson, who also played for the Chiefs, and one of those guys, linebackers, and just talking to different people. It's like football season is so different than any other sport. People can't wait for the season because they all talk about where they're at, what their team is going to do, how competitive they're going to be, whether they're going to be good or bad. But life's better with football. It's crazy.
It is.
Just the amount of attention that football gets worldwide, brother. It's unreal. When the NFL happens, it's just, you see fans, people are talking about it by water coolers. You're talking about it with people are calling me, hey, what should I do for fantasy? It's just a different aura about football. And one of the best games, week one, nothing bigger, Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers. That's one of those rivalries that people like to hear, and that's why it made the big screen. That's why Thursday night kickoff, we got to see the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, because they moved the thermometer. And the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle 49ers are a team with rich tradition And what better way to start off week one with Seattle and the San Francisco 49ers.
And we're kicking it off here on the Kickoff Show. Evan Giddings, that's Lorenzo, Neal. The thing is about this week too, I don't know if it's fantasy for people, if it's the gambling for some people, if it's just the fact that you know where you're going to be and what you're going to do on Sunday that provides a balance. Like everyone has, that is a 49ers fan, 1 o'clock to roughly 4:30 penciled in. I know what I'm going to be doing. And that's I think it brings like a balance to your weekend for a lot of people that even with all of the off season, you want to call it manifested drama, manufactured drama.
Sure.
You want to call, you're talking about should you pay the quarterback or what are we going to do with the kicker? And we got some questions about the offensive line. All of those things somewhat go away when the ball gets kicked off on Sunday in week one because you get to watch it, you get to see it. We'll get to react to it next time you and I are together next Sunday. And it's just a breath of fresh air. You're completely right that football season is unlike any other because despite the hiatus that was during the summer,
right.
It's almost like everybody gets to grab each other, lock arms, and we're on the same page again.
Think about this, bro. Basketball season comes up, baseball season, all those things. Name me, do you go with friends to necessarily to a basketball game? How many basketball games do you go to? How many baseball games do you attend? When it's football, it's like, okay, maybe you don't attend them. And maybe you don't attend football. But you know what? You and I talked about, hey, God, maybe after show, maybe we're going to go watch a football game.
Yeah.
You're usually with friends. It's interesting. Football is one of those sports that you're like, man, I got some people coming to the house. We're watching a game. You don't necessarily do it for baseball. You don't necessarily do it for basketball. Football is one of those sports because your best friends, teams planning, maybe it's the Raiders and you're the Chargers, and you guys say, I'm coming to your house. We're going to watch this game together. We're going to barbecue, cook out. I don't think there's another sport that you get a fan base that people come together Sundays, Mondays, during the week to watch sports, to watch a sporting event like football. Baseball, basketball, they don't compete.
I think it's because every week it's the Super Bowl. Like every game counts. Yeah. It's not like the Niners. Okay, so we got some questions, right? They got a young defense. Is McCaffrey going to be healthy? By the way, he is active today playing, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. So number 23 will be out there in Seattle in a little less than an hour. But even with all of that, this game's huge.
No.
The first game of the season is just as important as Week 17 because you can't take plays off. You can't take games off. And that's, to me, the biggest difference between what we're talking about with baseball and basketball. Sure, yeah, for a big playoff game and for, maybe it's a big rivalry game, I might go watch it with some friends if it's baseball or basketball. But every single game for football, I am locked in for.
Hey, I have people like that used to live here, that lived in Alameda, that they're way in Menifee. They're listening to the show like, oh my God, it's football season. Kiki, my Presley and Levi and Leah, they're all there. They're like, oh my God, we can't wait. We can't wait to the game. It's so different that you're watching and hearing just fans, people talk about football just differently than the way they talk about basketball and other sports. And it's great that when you talk to these people, you hear them say, hey, we're grilling out today. Hey, we're going to throw some steaks on the grill because we're going to watch a football game. You don't really do that for basketball and baseball. Like you said.
It's an event.
It is.
It's an event for everyone. And it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, but again, like I know that for the next few hours, my time is dedicated to watching football. We might text, we might talk. You could call me, but I know what I'm going to be doing.
Right.
Like I know exactly what I'm going to be, what I'm going to be posted up watching, which are the Niners and the Seahawks. That's exactly what's going down. And that's what's so much fun is every single week I know that that's going to happen. That's a built-in part of my schedule. Even if we weren't doing the show together, we would still be watching football.
Oh yeah.
And it's that. But for the next 6 months.
Exactly. And I love it because, like you and I, of course, love the Niners. I, love Chargers. I just love football. And then when you have other friends that and, they're like, I'm a Minnesota Viking. Like Leah and her boyfriend, they love Minnesota. And it's like, no matter what, we're not even talking, we're talking Niners. Oh, I like Minnesota. It's just, it's the converse. It's just, I love it. I can't wait to watch this game today. to see what the 49ers can do. I had a question for you.
Yeah.
What are a couple things that the 49ers can overcome? In your opinion, watching this matchup, and I'll give you, for example, if the 49ers are playing Philadelphia today, the Eagles, I would say if they lost the turnover battle, they can't overcome that. If they let Saquon have over 120 yards,
they can't overcome that.
And the quarterback throws for 200, they can't overcome that. What is something that you see today that they can't overcome?
It has, I think for me, week in and week out until things change, which they might because that's the way the NFL is. To me, the Niners are going to be very dependent on how much they can run the ball and conversely how well they can stop the run. I think that Seattle and Kenneth Walker III, he's been one of the better backs efficiency-wise in the league last couple of years. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field.
Right.
But so for me, if Kenneth Walker III has 100 yards on the ground, I'm not sure the Niners are going to be able to overcome that. Maybe 100 is a little less, like 115, 120. But I just think that if he runs the ball well for the Seahawks today, I don't know if the Niners can overcome that.
It's interesting. Mine is similar to that. I said this. I said Sam I am can throw for 300 yards, or maybe even more, but they can't have 100 yards rushing. Seattle can't. They got to be under 70 yards rushing, and they can. That's one thing that I think they can overcome. Something that they can't overcome if Sammy's throwing for 300 and they have over 100 yards rushing. I don't think they can overcome that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be dependent on how, because and this is where we can transition into some of the Darnold stuff too. And I do want to get to your other what they can and what they can't overcome. But to me, Darnold is someone that needs a run game. And I know that last year the Vikings weren't synonymous necessarily with running the football, but Aaron Jones Sr. is a quality back and is somebody that both on the ground and in the air, I think gave Darnold a necessary blanket to allow him to flourish as a passer. Now, with Clint Kubiak as his offensive coordinator, formerly with the Niners, last year was the OC with the Saints, I think that Kubiak, he's a Kyle Shanahan student. He wants to run the football. And so that's why, to me, I'm with you that if Darnold has a big game through the air, I think the Niners can overcome that. But if he has a big game and they're running the ball, that balance, that's going to be too much.
Exactly. Do you think, when you think about where Sam I am and Sam Darnold, which unbelievable quarterback, can throw the ball, we get it. Compare and contrast him and Geno. Why did the Seattle Seahawks upgrade with Sam compared to Geno Smith, in your opinion? And if so, why?
I think they did because of Geno's age and what Geno has left in the tank. Like, to me, what they did, though, is they're kind of flipping a coin. Like, Sam Darnold has, and we've known this since he was taken top 3, he has all the ability in the world. But the inconsistency is what prevents me, and I think a lot of people, from believing that he is a top-tier caliber quarterback. Even though last year, like, his numbers last year were better than Purdy's. Yeah. But who would I rather have in this football game today, regardless of situation? I would rather have Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you. See, for me, I think Joe Burrow's, maybe Justin Herbert still, the other night, he proved something. He finally went head-to-head with Mahomes and showed that he can beat him, 7 times of losing. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrows has already done that. Josh Allen, we know Josh Allen, Joe Burrows. When you think about, Mahomes, of course, I look at those guys. I look at what the Rams have. See, I put Purdy, as far as consistency, I put him in the top 10. I put him in the top 10 quarterback in this league, especially in this system. I think he is top 10. Now, Sam Darnold, to me, is not a top 10 quarterback.
Agreed.
So I take Purdy, but when you say, hey, look, for me, I like this matchup for the Niners better because what hurts the Niners. What kind of quarterback hurts the Niners? A running, mobile quarterback. Sam is not that guy. Geno Smith is better. He's a better matchup for the Niners than Sam Darnold. In my opinion, that's what's one of those key factors to me today. I don't think they upgraded because I think that Geno Smith fits the Niners, he's more of a kryptonite type of player than a statuesque, non-mobile quarterback like Sam Darnold. I think they're going to move him off his spot. I don't think he's that mobile when he's moved off his spot, and he can't necessarily hurt you with his legs. So to me, I give a huge edge to Geno in this particular game compared to for the Niners for this matchup instead of Sam Darnold.
That's interesting. I mean, I think that Sam Darnold is someone that when he is on a script, when he's in rhythm, he's as dangerous as anyone. But Geno's a guy that I found the Niners less able to fluster and frustrate. Sam Darnold is someone that if the pocket is kind of moving around, if you can collapse it, you can make him see ghosts. I mean, you can get him in a place where he is going to make some terrible decisions with the football. And so from that standpoint, I understand why Seattle did it. They wanted to get younger. They wanted to, I don't know, maybe get a bit more dynamic, as far as arm talent. But what they gave up, I think, was a consistency every single week. Because while Sam Darnold was really good with the Vikings last year, we saw what happened when you got into those big moments, those big games, and opposing teams were able to frustrate him.
What defense would you rather have? Seattle's defense or Minnesota's defense?
Do I get Brian Flores?
See what I'm saying? I'm just saying this year or last year, what defense? And I think Minnesota's defense. So I think that's what you have to take in consideration when you're looking at Sam Darnold with Seattle, Sam Darnold with Minnesota. See, with Minnesota, he didn't necessarily have to be great. He could manage the games because your defense could get you turnovers, could do a bunch of different things. Your defense was ornery, stingy. Now put him in Seattle. Seattle has a good young defense. They got some young guys, but are they as good as Minnesota? And Geno could extend plays, do certain things with his legs to keep their defense off the field. You don't have Metcalf any longer there. You got Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
So what receivers when you look at Seattle now compared to last year, do you like their receiving core better? I'm just trying to go through this game, and because I know we're going to get down to scores and what's going to happen, but just trying to see kind of where you're at as far as a team-to-team, apples, oranges.
Well, that's why I actually think it's a really fun matchup week one, not just because of the rivalry and because of the start of the season, but I think that the Niners and the Seahawks both are a team with a lot of questions. And those questions could determine them making the playoffs or, in the case of Seattle, regressing completely. Let's not forget, this team won 10 games last year. And so that's why when you threw the question at me, like, why did you go away from Geno? I think it's a fair one. You tied the Rams for the division lead. They didn't have the tiebreaker, so they obviously didn't make the playoffs. But they still won 10 games with a rookie head coach, with a lot of youth on their defense. And I just found it interesting that they decided to move on from that for a player who, outside of last year, has been relatively unproven. So I think that the Seahawks are a team that, much like the Niners, I could see them winning this division. I could see them coming in fourth. And whereas the Niners, to me, it's more because of the amount of rookies that they have playing and a lot of their youth, as well as some of the older stars. For the Seahawks, it's kind of because of their quarterback. Because I still don't have full faith in Sam Darnold. While he was balling out last year and played very well for the Minnesota Vikings.
To the playoffs.
You're right, but that
playoffs
was perfect.
It was perfect.
That's why I faded. I didn't like him in the playoffs. That was not a place I wanted to see Sam Darnold.
Once he had to go make plays, and once playoffs changes dynamics, and you're asked to step up and be a game changer, he was inability to do it. And when you say it's a wide open division, I differ. If I think that this is the Rams division to lose. I'm not going to sit here because I'm not going to play the homer with the Niners. Let me tell you something. If Stafford's okay, the Rams may be a Super Bowl team.
But that's why I think it might be open.
Okay.
It's because of that elbow.
I can see that. I understand. Because if you really look at it, I'm going to tell you, the Rams were a play away from being in the Super Bowl last year.
They were.
The Rams should have beat Philadelphia. The Rams going down to drive to score. Rams were in that game. That game was way closer.
It was way closer to the Super Bowl for sure.
Exactly. I'm surprised people don't talk about that NFC Championship game as much as I saw it. The Rams gave them hell. And that was a very, very good matchup. And they don't turn the ball over. It's possible they win that game. They were going in to win the game.
They were knocking on the door. Like, they were on the 5-yard line with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And that was a place where, it's interesting because the Rams, again, they were also, a potential late loss away from missing the playoffs completely.
Sure.
And that's why I find that the NFC West so fascinating, because I think there's 4 teams that all have reason to believe that they could either take a leap or they could take a step back. Even someone like the Arizona Cardinals, who now have another year of Jonathan Gannon. It's a big make-or-break year for Kyler Murray, but you have Marvin Harrison, who's a great talent. Trey McBride's a great talent. There's James Conner, who we saw running down the Niners' throats last year.
Right.
It's a solid team. I think the NFC West is the closest, as far as parity is concerned, of any division in football.
What do you throw the AFC West? Because I look at the Raiders, Denver, Kansas City, and the Chargers.
That's pretty close.
I think. I mean, it is close. I think
I would have the Raiders a little bit lower than I would say Arizona. Maybe I'm higher on them than most people. But to me, last year the Cardinals won 8 games, the Seahawks won 10 games, the Rams won 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I look at
3 teams in the AFC West go to the playoffs last year. Remember?
Well, I think it's a better division.
Yeah.
But as far as the talent level, just how close the 4 teams are, that's why to me the NFC West is the toughest division to predict, because I think there's 4 teams that could win. I think in the AFC West, I'm looking at the 3 teams. With no disrespect to the Raiders, they're going to be better this year.
Right.
But to me, it's a 3-man race between Denver, Los Angeles, and Kansas City.
Would you? So if you had to go on a limb, would you say that it's more because the Chargers won that game? Don't you even think it's more parity now? Because it used to be. Besides last year,
I thought the Chargers would be better this year, though.
Yeah, because you got to realize Kansas City won it the last 10 years. They've won it. So when you're saying
15 and 2,
right? And then you look at last year, and then you say, okay, when you're making that statement, now you're saying it's more parity. All 4 of these teams, I think you would have to crown Kansas City. So I think it's hard to, but you still feel that this conference has the more parity. Niners, Seattle. Excluding, in Seattle and in the.
I think it's the tightest 4-team race of any division, and again, it's less about the Raiders than it is. I think the Chargers are better than they were last year. They won 11 games. I think the Broncos will be better last year. They won 10 games, and Kansas City I think takes a step back, even though they won 15 games. So that I'm looking at as 3 teams with a chance to win it. I think in the NFC West. There are 4. It's the only division where there's 4.
You think Arizona has a chance to win it?
I think they do.
See, Kyler Murray, he's so up and down. He's a head case to me. He shows you inconsistency. He might want to quit on you. You don't know what you're going to get. You have a receiver that you think that's the best thing since Jerry Rice. Don't know if Marvin
don't throw him the ball.
Don't know if Marvin's going to be like his dad, Junior. And Kyler Murray, can he get him the ball? Can he see over enough to really give this guy the opportunity to be great? So.
Maybe that's my hot take this season.
That's a hot take.
That's one of my hot takes.
Hey, Evan, I love you, but I love you. But when you talk about the quarterback play too,
yep.
Okay, you got Purdy. Okay, and then you're talking about what the Rams have, who's shown even though he got injured.
No, absolutely. Stafford's gonna be number
proven.
1.
Okay, so tell me in the AFC West. Which quarter? So tell me, you besides Stafford and Purdy, I think that the AFC West have way better quarterbacks.
Oh no, they do.
I'm talking about collectively as a group.
I'm not saying that division isn't better. In fact, one of the reasons why
it's only 2 I think it's only 2 quarterbacks in the NFC in our division. NFC West, I think there's 2 quarterbacks.
Purdy and Stafford. That's it.
Yes, but the NFC West.
Darnold and Murray to me are in the same category. I think they're both for different reasons. They are guys that are talented and yet aren't trustworthy. But that's why it's a big year for both of them.
We've seen the Raiders in Seattle trade.
Yeah.
Switch quarterbacks. Well, not switch, but do you believe without Geno's the worst quarterback
in that division, for sure?
And I just think that there's just two true starting quarterbacks. I just think that there's only two true starting quarterbacks in the NFC West.
Oh, no. Look, the AFC West might be the best division in football. I think that the closest division of teams is with the Niners, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Rams. And the only reason I don't give the nod to the Rams is because, we're like the biggest question for the Niners, right? Christian McCaffrey and his health.
Right.
The biggest question for the Rams is Stafford healthy?
Okay.
Because if he's not, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to take you
Jimmy G, baby.
Is Jimmy G going to be under center and guide you to the playoffs? I don't think so.
He's done it, baby, with the Niners. You couldn't live with Jimmy G anymore, baby.
I'll tell you what. If Sean McVay and Jimmy Garoppolo go to the playoffs together, I will bow down. I will bow down.
Too. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay, so since we're just hypotheticals, and
we're throwing them out there,
and we're throwing them out there. I have another division that I'm like. So you think it's cut and dry? Dallas. When that division, think about who's there. Think about that conference. Green Bay. Think about that. So do you think it's more parity? So you think that the North have more parity?
No. The North.
I know what you're saying.
There's
you're
more
saying
power.
I know more power, but I'm just talking about who's got a better chance. Isn't it the same? See, even though I understand team-wise power, just like you said, the AFC West, yes, it's better team.
NFC North is the best division, I think, in the conference because you got the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers, who just got Micah Parsons. And to me, the NFC East, yeah, you could look at. But to me, like the Giants kind of they're going to anchor you.
But the Giants, okay,
They'll be better.
What's the difference between the Giants and Arizona? See what I'm saying? I think that Arizona and the Giants. If you told me right now, I'm putting you on this end of the year, dinner.
Okay.
Who has more games, Giants or Arizona?
Arizona.
Okay. See, I think that it could be. Look,
we could put dinner on it. I like it. I like it. Okay. Yeah. New York versus Arizona. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to be talking about the two teams at the bottom of the division.
Exactly. But okay. So then where are you? So now those three other teams that we talked about.
Yeah.
Detroit, Packers.
Yep.
And Philly, right? And the is it Cowboys? Right?
Oh, you're talking about in the conference, the NFC.
Yeah.
No, I think you got to give the nod to Philly that they're the best team. To me, from there, it's open season, and that's why I do like the Niners' chances this year because if they can get to the dance,
right,
you don't know who's going to be second behind Philadelphia, and even Philly because of a Super Bowl. It's hard to go back to back.
But you don't know who's going to be second after the Rams. See, after the Rams, I think it's the Niners.
Oh,
see, I think it's more
division?
clear. Yeah, I think it's more clear. See, I think Philly's got a harder chance to get in there than the Rams.
Well, I mean, Philly's going up against Dallas and Washington in the East.
Yes.
You think that's tough?
I think it's.
I think Philly's got that division.
I think it's tough. Yeah, I do believe that it's tough. I do believe that Jaden Daniels is better than. I think he's a better quarterback. If you said who would I rather have, him or Jalen?
Oh,
Give me Jaden.
Yeah, but I'm taking the Eagles team over the Commanders team.
Yes, I am too. But I'm just saying. So when you're looking at this thing, I just think that you have a team in the Washington Commanders that are good enough to beat Philly. You have a Dallas Cowboys team that are good enough to beat Philly. So
hey, hold on. I totally forgot this is a great conversation, but we got to hit a break.
God, do we have to?
I know we have to. We got to run it through. We already got one bet on the board. We got disagreement week 1. This is what NFL season is all about. Niners and Seahawks 30 minutes away. We got predictions. If you want to get into the conversation, 888-957-9570. What do you think is going to happen in 30 minutes at Lumen Field between the Niners and the Seahawks? This is the Kickoff Show. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo, Neal. We're back after this.
I knew that I was not living the life that I wanted to live, but I didn't know how to get back on track. It gave me the time and space to take life one step at a time. I have a life beyond what I could ever dream. I know that anyone can recover. I am living proof that recovery is possible.
Get treatment. It works. Learn more. Visit livingproofsf.org.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long.
Here we go.
Starting with a Week 1 NFC North rivalry between the Lions and Packers.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Come into Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill and see an amazing selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances live and on display in one of the largest living kitchens in the country. And save with Full Suite Savings Event. With qualifying purchase, get 3 additional years of protection or qualify for a $1,000 rebate. For the largest selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances, visit the Living Kitchen at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
This year, the Valley of Hearts Delight fundraiser shines brighter than ever. With our theme, Legacies Under the Lights, step into History Park, glowing with restored historic neon signs from the History San Jose collection, and enjoy an unforgettable night of dining, live music, and celebration. All proceeds support preserving the stories and landmarks that make our valley unique. Tickets are now on sale at historysanjose.org. Join us for Legacies Under the Lights October 9th and help keep history shining for generations to come.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC-branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No! Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple Air Tag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden Air Tag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to AtcoPestControl.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Oh boy.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, we got 30 minutes until kickoff. Oh boy is right. Oh boy is right, because the Niners and the Seahawks are getting set to go. This is the kickoff show. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo, Neal. Christian McCaffrey is healthy. Brock Purdy's going to be leading the charge. George Kittle, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, all the boys are out against Sam Darnold and company as Mike McDonald gets ready for his team to defend home field. I know it's week one. I know it's a rivalry game. But, just looking around the NFL, Lo, every single year we think we know everything. And this is why in the last segment I love talking ball with you because
I love it with you, by the way, bro.
Well, it's like, all right, you feel how you feel, I feel how I feel. And odds are we're going to hit some, we're going to miss some, right. And at the end of the year we're going to come back and say, wow. Because that's what the NFL does.
It does. And there's a team, man, that I think is a Super Bowl talented team. They just don't have the quarterback and the offense, the friggin' Cleveland Browns. if Cleveland Browns had an offense to go with that defense, I think what they do, and I know their DC really well. He friggin' was the head coach of Detroit Lions. You remember he was with me with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, this DC that they have, Jimmy Schwartz, Schwartz can get after you. Cleveland Browns, man, their defense is Super Bowl ready, and their offense is not. That's a team, to me, Super Bowl ready, just don't have the offense.
Well, we do have a couple of updates for you on the Niners front. The projected starting defense for the Niners today, their two edges, Nick Bosa and first-round pick Mikael Williams. Defensive tackle, Jordan Elliott, Kalia Davis. Linebackers, Fred Warner, D. Winters getting the nod. Nick Martin is going to play at some point in this game, I'm sure. And then their DBs, Diamondor Lenore, Renardo Green, nickel corner Upton Stout, who's a rookie, and the safeties, Jason Pinnock and Marcus Siegel. So 3 rookies in the starting lineup projected for the Niners today.
That's crazy. It's interesting, like you talked about. You went out and you said, I'm going to spend a lot of draft capital to improve my defense. And they went out and did that. And I think today is going to be a big test for this defense, and it's going to start up front.
I apologize. Nick Martin is actually inactive. That's one of the updates that we just received.
Wow, I'm surprised Nick Martin's inactive. Linebacker guy to get after it. But it's going to show you, hey, you want guys that know what they're doing. You know, the guy can run around, but it's going to show you, hey, you got to have guys that know what they're doing as well. So it's just going to be interesting just to see how the Niners defense is going to play, especially in a hostile environment. Seattle, one of the best places to play. The crowd's awesome. To see what kind of a welcome they're going to get, and seeing how this defense respond in Seattle on the road week 1.
Real quick, Lo, we haven't talked about special teams much, and I know that you impress this upon me every single time we chat. It is a third of the game. Special teams is huge. Jake Moody is someone that's been coming under fire a lot for the 49ers. Oh, boy, is right. And I'm just wondering, before this game, where are you at with the kicker? I mean, is he getting a fair shake? Is some of the, I don't know, frustration or questions, is that fair?
Wait a minute. Is he getting a fair shake? Absolutely, he's getting a fair shake. You gave him a fair shake. You brought a competition. You ran the guy out and said, we're going to stay with Jake Moody. Oh, boy. I mean, here's a guy that has struggled, who struggled grossly. It's been a situation where he's missing extra points. The inconsistency is like, it's mind-blowing. And Shanahan's like, I don't really want to talk to the special teams guys. I'll just leave him alone. Yeah. Because he wants to blow up. Because the thing that's so frustrating with Moody, it's above the shoulders. This guy has a big leg. He can kick. He's unbelievable. It's not anything. You've seen him kick a 58-yard field goal in preseason. Then he chips a chip shot, extra point, he misses. You are a friggin' Charger fan in your heart of heart. I played there. You loved it. You used to love going to Qualcomm. You friggin' knew we were one of the best teams in the league. Should have won Super Bowl. Nate Caden.
Oh, God love him.
It was God bless his heart. Oh, boy. I mean, here's a guy that you know. He missed 3-4 field goals against the Jets. We win the game.
2009.
Guys, people are like, oh, get off the kicker. No. You get paid. And when you see your kicker miss opportunities, and when you know Nate Caden, he had the leg, kick a 55, 60-yard field goal.
It was
it's
upstairs.
Above the shoulders. And that's what's so frustrating for the 49ers, because if this game's on the line, I'm scared. If it's a 30-yard field goal, I'm scared. If it's a 30-yard field goal, I'm scared. Kyle Shanahan's on the sideline going, oh, boy, what do we do? I mean, it's that serious of a situation that you don't want it to come down to your kicker. You don't want that problem, though. This is a problem that it makes you, because it plays a psychological effect on your head coach, because your head coach now, he's doing things that he wouldn't do because he's afraid and not has 100% confidence in your special teams. So special teams is huge today for the Niners as well as the Seattle Seahawks.
See, it's funny because when Shanahan says, I don't care much about the kicker, I totally get it. The one thing I don't want him doing is now caring about the kicker. Because when you care about the kicker, it means you're not thinking the way you're usually. That's a problem. So that is something that I think everyone has sort of adopted, whether they want to admit it or not. Everyone is like Kyle Shanahan when Jake Moody comes onto the field, which is, oh, now I care about it. Because, and you're caring about it for the wrong reasons. You're caring about it because you're fearful. You got questions. You don't know whether it's going to go right, it's going to go left, if it's going to go right down the chute. So Jake Moody absolutely is something that you have to have an eye on during this game. And I think for the San Francisco 49ers this year, a lot of games in the NFL come down to the wire anyways. I also think with the way the Niners are built right now, like they need those 3-pointers. They need those. They need points when they can take them, because last year this was a team that struggled mightily in the red zone. I think they're going to be better this year. McCaffrey, who's healthy today and active at Lumen Field, should impact that. But when you get down into that money zone, into that gold zone, not everything's going to go your way. And while you'd love to get 6, I have to make sure I get 3.
You do. I mean, it's huge momentum swing if you miss a field goal. Convert. You rather convert and get touchdowns instead of field goals. But when you do have to get 3, you need your quarterback to come through and you need him to deliver. You want your kicker to deliver when you have to get 3. And that's the thing that always, it's that question, because now your defense, your team, everyone is starting to think about your kicker. And you don't want to be in that position. And because you want to be in a position where you're comfortable, you know what's going to happen. And kicking an extra point, kicking a chip shot, inside the 25 should be automatic most of the time. And when you don't have the consistency with your kicker's going out there not 100% in himself. The holder's not 100% that the kicker's going to make it. So he's trying to hold the ball perfect. He's trying to do his thing. The snapper, the line, everyone's now saying, okay, instead of concentrating on my job, I'm concentrating on the guy behind me's job, and that's a recipe for disaster as well. So it's very, very imperative that Brent Boyer, who's a personal friend of mine, played with Darren Boyer at Fresno State, played against him at Utah, great guy. I know him. He was drafted by Jacksonville. He was a hell of a special team player, played linebacker, tough, physical, Midwest guy, great guy. Brent Boyer, is beside himself because I know the type of coach and the type of player he is and how important special teams is to him.
All right, so we got about 15 minutes between now and the end of the kickoff show, obviously taking you up until kickoff at Lumen Field for the 49ers and the Seahawks. Before we end, obviously, with the 49ers and the Seahawks and our predictions, some of the keys, what we feel like is going to happen today, you want to go down the games here today, Lo. Without an understanding of what all the scores are, we're going to go through, say what we believe should or shouldn't happen, and then we're going to congregate again, as we generally do on Sunday, the Lord's Day next week.
Yes, sir.
And talk about it. Okay, so before you look at any of these scores,
I'm not looking.
We're just going to run down the list. 10 a.m. games first. Buccaneers at Falcons.
Oh, I got the Falcons.
I do too. I think that this is a team that under Michael Penix and his watch is going to be a lot more dynamic offensively.
I totally agree. I think what Michael Penix have, but he has a good running game. They're going to run the ball, rely on that. I think that you look at what Tampa, they have been getting by. Their quarterback has overachieved a lot. I love what he's been able to do, but I do like Atlanta at home, so I'm going to go with Falcons too.
All right, Bengals, Browns.
Oh,
pretty straightforward here.
Yeah, that game's tough. We look at it right now. I still think that the Bengals are going to win the game, even though we looked at the score at 16-14 and looks like Browns are getting ready to kick a field goal to go ahead.
Yeah.
I still like Bengals.
It is strange though. Cincinnati, remember they started 0-4 last year. They seem to struggle in the month of September. All right, Dolphins at Colts.
Yeah, I don't like what's going on in Miami. Just don't know what's really what's happening. So I'm going to take the Colts.
I do like Indianapolis there too. I think, by the way, at the end of this season, Mike McDaniel might be looking for another job.
Yeah, just don't know if he has it as a head coach. I think he's a great coordinator.
And that team is...
Yeah, you got some different...
in some trouble.
Yeah.
All right, New England is hosting the Raiders.
You know what? I like New England earlier, but since we've been watching the game, just like the Raiders, and we talked about the quarterback, what he's been able to do. Geno, you and I both just have to say the Raiders are going to win this game because we've been kind of watching that one.
Yeah, and also, look, the impact of a head coach, Pete Carroll. Looks like the Raiders might have something there. I'm with you. And then we have New Orleans hosting the Cardinals.
Yeah, that game, no matter what, I think that they're going to tank. I think the New Orleans Saints this year won't win more than 4 games.
Looking for another Archie Manning?
That's exactly what's going on. It's about Manning. Archie was there, played for the Saints. Both his boys didn't go to the Saints, so they missed a generation. What better way to the Saints to go after and tank to get a Manning there?
All right, I'm with you. Yeah, and anytime New Orleans is on the board, I feel like I got to roll against them. All right, Pittsburgh is at New York. The Jets under Justin Fields, formerly of Robert Saleh, formerly Robert Saleh's team. This one I thought was going to be Pittsburgh's game, and instead right now the Jets are actually up by a point.
Yeah, even with the Jets up by a point, I'm going to go with the Steelers. But I did think that it was going to be the Steelers game as well. But it's interesting just to watch the way that the Jets are playing. You know, I'm pulling for Aaron Glenn because Aaron and I played together with the Jets. And Aaron was a cornerback. Been loving him for years. Good personal friend of mine. So pulling for him. But I think that Aaron Rodgers finds a way to get it done with the Steelers.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, Washington hosting the Giants. Washington's up right now. You know, I think the Commanders are a team that you can kind of pencil into some of these games, but division games are tough, so it's low scoring right now.
Yeah, but that's a game that Washington's going to win. The Commanders, they're playing at home. You got the crowd in it. You got players you brought in. Giants are going to be a team that's going to win some games, but I just think the Commanders are trying to. They are a better team.
And then the last game from the 10 a.m. slate before we move on to the 1 o'clocks, Jacksonville hosting the Panthers. This was actually the game that I picked in my survivor pool. I had Jacksonville winning all the way. They're up big at half.
Yeah, this was a game. It's interesting. I think Jacksonville too, but everyone thought Panthers were playing at home. This was a game. Odd years they get to go to a Super Bowl. Some Jacksonville fan, some Panther fan was telling me something weird about what happened with the Panthers, so this was going to be their year. But no, Jacksonville, clearly.
Yeah, I think they're due for a bounce-back season. All right, to the 1 o'clock games. Again, we're going to end with the Niners. Before that, we're going to move through some. I think some of these are going to be interesting games.
Yeah.
First, let's start in the AFC West. Denver hosting the number 1 overall pick in Cam Ward and your Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a good game. I think Cam Ward's going to I think Cam Ward's going to play well. I just think Denver's the team to beat, one of the teams to beat this year. I'm going to go Denver.
I agree. I think it's always tough when you're making your first start in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's even tougher when you might be facing the best defense in football.
Yeah, and you're going to Mile High to play that game.
Yeah,
right?
the Broncos with their home opener, so we both got them there. All right, this is, I know it's week 1, but sort of similar to the Niners Seahawks, I think it's going to have implications on the division race. Green Bay hosting Detroit.
I got Green Bay. And you and I, we talked before the game. I got Green Bay, believe it or not. I got Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. I think Green Bay is that type of team. You got Josh Jacobs. You got a runner. Your defense, now you got Parsons. You have the receivers. You got a good quarterback. I like Green Bay.
I'm with you. I don't know if I would go as far as to say to the Super Bowl, but they have all the ingredients of a Super Bowl team. To your point, their defense is solid. They have a quarterback who they've now paid. I think that they invested a lot in their wide receivers. Obviously, with Marcus Golden, their first-round pick this year. They made a big kind of gutsy move for Micah Parsons, paying him massive cash. If there is a year for the Green Bay Packers to make a run at it, I do believe it's this year. And I think it starts today against a Lions team that, you're talking about your buddy Aaron Glenn. I know that everyone's making a big deal about Ben Johnson leaving on the offensive side, but you lost both coordinators. And you have to go on the road week 1, where Jared Goff typically doesn't play well outside, even though it's September. I like Green Bay in this game, too.
Yeah, you and I both on that one. And I just think that Jared, it's going to be tough because you lost. It's hard to overcome your defensive coordinator and your offensive coordinator.
All right, Los Angeles Rams hosting DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans.
Yeah, you know what?
This is a tough game.
It's a really tough game, but the Rams, I'm going to stay with them. I think the Rams going to find a way to win that game. I think, DeMeco Ryans, kudos to him. He went out, brought in a new running back, trying to change it, trying to make some things happen. I just think the Rams going to win that game.
Yeah, I think without Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb is probably going to be their starter here today. I think it's going to be tough for him. I do like the Rams at home. And I think that Stafford, we're going to learn a lot about the health of that elbow, so we both are on the Rams. And then finally, the Sunday night game before we get to the Niners and the Seahawks, Bills hosting the Ravens, a potential AFC Championship playoff matchup.
Oh, boy. I think that one's too close to call. But you know what? I think that the Ravens just need to show some revenge. I'm going to go with the Ravens. How about Debo today scoring a touchdown on a little reverse?
Wow.
Gave the Debo the ball and took it around. Looked like one of the Niners play. They dialed it up for him. Debo takes it to the house.
I do love that for Debo Samuel. That's one thing. Everybody can get on board with Debo doing well. Everyone is wishing him the best. I'm going to take Buffalo in this game just because it's at home. So I think that might be the one of the few games we're on the opposite sides of. But, we got a few minutes left on the kickoff show with Evan Giddings and Lorenzo Neal, coming to you every single Sunday morning, 2 hours before kickoff. The Niners and the Seahawks. 49ers going on the road, Low. Who do you think walks away 1-0?
Yeah, for me, this is a good matchup. I thought there's some things that the over-Niners, I think the Niners can lose the turnover battle by 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think they also can have, because it's tough, hostile environment, you might have more offsides, so you can lose the penalties by 20 or less. And I think you still can win that game. I got the Niners winning this game because they're the better team.
I think that Brock Purdy, who has had nothing but success against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, I know they lost last year at home to Geno Smith, but he has not lost at Lumen Field, and I think he keeps that up today. He moves to 4-0 against the Seahawks. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be maybe even, kind of a shootout between these two sides. But I do think that both offenses, we're going to learn a lot about them. I think Brock Purdy's going to be the difference.
No question. But how about this play right here? 1:40 left. Cleveland's winning the game, and you're throwing the ball 1:40.
Oh.
You have Joe Flacco throw the ball with 1:40, and you have the ball. All you need to do is run out the clock. Yes, maybe he made the catch, but look what you did. You just gave Cincinnati a chance to line up and kick a field goal to win that game. That's why we both were still on Cincinnati no matter what. Cleveland just finds a way to lose. And Nice. That was my man back there throwing that in. That was nice, brother. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, to me, the team that plays the most consistent up front is going to win this football game. And I do think that the Niners have enough to make, both on the defensive side of the football, a weak offensive line for the Seahawks, make their presence felt. And then on the offensive side, I am really looking forward to seeing the two guys that I just, for whatever reason last year, we didn't get to see a lot of together. And that is Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. When the Niners run the ball behind Big Trent, when they get the ball to the left side, when they get CMC open in space, this is a different football team.
It really is. When you got McCaffrey and he's able to hit the hole and run behind Big Trent, and when the defense over pursues, this guy hits the hole like dynamite. He's TNT. It's unbelievable. I want to see not only that combination, but I want to see what they got in Brian Robinson Jr. I want to see the type of running back that he is, because I'm not telling you, you know it and I know it. You're going to need him at the end of the year, because we know Christian McCaffrey is going to need some rest. We need to see who the other guys are.
Exactly. And again, we know who he is, and then the question becomes, is that what he's going to be this year? How many years? I think this might be the last best season of Christian McCaffrey. Not that he's going to be back to what he was in 2023, but this offense, to me, has to look so much different than it was last year, and the difference is going to be on the ground.
And the thing that's so frustrating, is the fact that it's not that he's old, it's the fact that it's calves, it's certain things that you just can't stop, and it's just like, that's what's been frustrating for McCaffrey. I think the fans, it's not that he's taking a bunch of shots, a shoulder, he's got a busted knee from someone hitting him in the knee. His shoulder's hurt, it's his ribs. It's a calf. You're not getting hit, and that's what's so horrible about the injuries that he's trying to fight through, his Achilles and the calves.
Yeah, so Christian McCaffrey is going to be active on the field today. We're going to see him. We're going to see Brian Robinson. We're going to see Ricky Pearsall as the number one, I believe, receiver for this football team in Brock Purdy. And I'm excited for this rookie to strut his stuff, because we've heard a lot about him. He's looked good in preseason, in camp, and I think that this is a year where we figure out, all right, who's going to be the next guy on the outside for the Niners, and Pearsall, next man up.
I want to see Pearsall. Like you said, last year was so frustrating, so disappointing, and sad that an idiot off the streets, shoots this guy and didn't get to see what his full potential. And he's giving him some credit. Pearsall works hard to get back. He and Purdy has put in the time in the offseason to get ready for these moments. So now let's see how it comes together, and I'm ready to see this guy take off.
And I'm also ready in a couple of weeks to get this thing kicked off at Levi's Stadium. I know, Lo, we got to wait until week 3 to be at Laughing Monk Brewing, but everyone have your schedule penciled. 2 weeks from now, 2 Sundays from now, the very first home game for the 49ers, it's going to be a party at Laughing Monk Brewing. So everyone keep it locked for that. We're going to be here every single Sunday for you on the kickoff show, 2 hours before kick. Lorenzo, Neal, Evan Giddings. And look, I know you just came in from Brazil, Lo. I know you might be a little jet lagged, but I appreciate you showing up for your boy, man.
Oh, boy.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited just watching these games. You see kind of what's going on here on the first week of the season. Here's the Steelers on the drive. Atlanta, you and I both got Atlanta. They're on the first and second and goal from the 3-yard line. It's just the NFL. You watch the Raiders. The Raiders are up by 10. It's so many things that you don't expect, and it's so much parity in this league. And that's why I hope that you and I are both on the right side of this. Here's a Niner team that is upset with the way their year turned out last year. I think they're on a mission. I think that they have them as an underdog. No one really thinks the Niners are much to going to win a Super Bowl or really going to compete. I think those men in that room understand what people are saying about them. That's why I have this team coming out today and showing the world, don't just crown Philadelphia. Don't just crown the Minnesota. Don't just crown friggin' the Cowboys or Green Bay. We're still here. I think their window is still open for business.
Yeah, they have a chance to shock some people this season, and it all starts in just about 10 minutes, the 105 kickoff. But that has been this edition, week 1 edition of the kickoff show. Next week, 10 a.m. kick against the Saints will be live right here at 8 a.m. And then, of course, Sunday, September 21st, for that 1:30 kick against the Cardinals, we'll have our first ever live pregame show at Laughing Monk Brewing. So make sure to get on out there. Keep that date open, September 21st. Lorenzo, Neal, Evan Giddings will be having a lot of fun a couple of weeks from now, as we will every single Sunday, 2 hours before kick on the kickoff show. Make sure to keep it locked right here on 95.7 The Game after the game for overtime with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in to this edition of the kickoff show. We'll be back next Sunday. And let's see if the Niners are 1-0. Let's go.
Oh, boy. Bang, bang, Niner game. Oh, boy.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to AtcoPestControl.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us.